Hello and welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic Now. A very slight early publication. I think at midnight tonight we put out, or midnight last night, we put out the Patreon reward. I think that was my fault. We normally put it out during our afternoon, but as soon as it turned July here, that Patreon reward was available. So do give it a go. We got hundreds of entries within hours. It is definitely the most approachable Patreon reward that we have put up in a long time. It's by pause. It's called a 6x6 Sudoku, and there are 10 puzzles. Actually, 9 of them are 6x6 and one of them is 4x4. So give it a try. They are all very manageable. They're all within your capabilities, I'm sure. And loads of correct entries, lots of positive comments coming in. Thank you so much to Pause for creating it and letting us bring it to you on our Patreon, where every month we produce, for the $2 a month patrons, that's really not a lot of money. We produce a puzzle hunt, and then there's loads of other content throughout the month, and including last month, of course, the 600k subscriber celebration pack, which, if you are too quick on the Patreon hunt, try and do all the puzzles in that. Anyway, loads of stuff on Patreon. Do join us there and have a go at our apps. If you need to fill your time, there's some brilliant apps. We have Line Sudoku and Killer Sudoku, and I think Line and Killer rules do apply in this. There's an extra rule in this puzzle about the cages, which we will certainly come on to soon. But the apps are brilliant too. There's also, of course, all our merch and Sven's Sudoku Pad in the links under the video. And a quick shout out to, I got to meet Michael Lefkowitz, aka Juggler, at the weekend, and that was fantastic. We said hello, and I think he was going on to see Pedaling Pianist afterwards, who I featured yesterday in my video, which is great. That was coincidence, but there we go. Real life interactions with CTC. I think Simon met someone at a party as well. He may have told you the story by now. Brilliant. Somebody can actually have tested out his hypothesis that there are, or the normal hypothesis that there are people who want to meet Simon at a party and talk to him. Anyway, he is far too modest, obviously. Now, let's have a look at this puzzle. This is by Green Checker 34, and it comes with a backstory that I've partially forgotten. I think it's about wolves being on the loose in the village, and the villagers or sheep skulking in pens where the wolves can't get in. Anyway, let's do what the rules are. Normal Sudoku rules apply, so we will be putting 1 to 9 in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. Killer cages, digits in a cage sum to the total given in that cage, if it's given, and digits may not repeat in a cage. Also, a digit in a cage indicates how many cages contain that digit. So if this was a 3 of the cages would contain a 3, exactly 3, no more, no less, which is like the counting circles rule that we've been coming across lately. Intriguing idea. Right, German whispers, these are normal. Green lines, any 2 adjacent digits on a green line have a difference of at least 5. So here you could put 1 and 6 or 1 and 9, but you couldn't put 3 and 7. And these wolves, these grey circles, are digits that are not found within any cage. So they're roaming around trying to get into the cages, but they will fail because they aren't found in any cage. Okay, those are the rules. That's all we get, and a few cages. Give it a try on the first link under the video. I'm going to restart my clock and say, I will also just say hi to the various people I've met. I've met more Slovakians than I would ever expect because of Sudoku, and I've even competed in Slovakia at the World Sudoku Championship. And some of them are really good people, and I just wanted to say sorry about how England progressed in the Euros yesterday. That must have been heartbreaking. Right, let's get cracking. Okay. We've got... I mean, I don't think that any of these cages would let you make progress if you don't remember the counting circles rule. So I think that's really, really important. And the brief little German whisper lines, no help, and the wolf things, no help. So we've got to think about these cages. Now, what I could do is colour those orange and that blue and that orange, where orange is high digits, because this 15 cage is either made up of 6, 9 or 7, 8. Now, that is very interesting from the counting circles rule. If this was 9, 6, then there would be 9 9s in cages. And, I mean, you can barely do that. In fact, can you put 9 9s in cages? You could only put, I don't know, I'm looking at it from the point of view of, can there be a 9 in a cage in every box of this puzzle? So there would be one in this cage, then one in this cage, one in this cage. I suppose it is possible. So maybe what I need to do, okay, there are things I do need to do, and I hadn't thought about this. I need to count the cages. That's fairly straightforward. There are 10 cages. Let's do a little aide-memoire. 10 cages. How many cells are in cages? Because that's the number of digits that are in this count them up in the cages routine. 20, 23, 25, 28, 30 digits in those 10 cages. Okay, what we know about counting circles is that will mean that the numbers that uniquely go into cages, the numbers that you can put into cages, if you took one each of them, they will add up to 30. Now, here we get the extra clue of how many they all add up to if you take 6 6s and 5 5s, say 6 and 5 were in this 30 total. And that's because we can add up all the cage totals, although we can't. There's one without a total. 42, 64. I am adding up all the cage totals. 87, 107, 125, 146, 165, plus this one. So that could be as little as 3, or it could be as many as 17. And that takes us to a total in the cages of somewhere between 168 and 182. And that will be, whatever that total actually is, will be the sum of all the squares of the digits that can go in cages. Now, the way I'm seeing that is if there are 6 6s in the cage, their contribution to that total is 6 times 6, 36, the square of 6. So that is right. So maybe there's some brilliant algebra I can do to deduce what this 30 is made up of. I don't think the 10's all that relevant. To deduce what the 30 is made up of and what the total must be between 168 and 182. I don't know how to do that. What I am going to do is write down those numbers so that I know what they are, because I'm going to take out the aide-memoire piece of this. Now, okay, if this was a 9 and a 6, we would be starting with 9 times 9 is 81. Okay, actually, let's start by thinking how that 30 can be made up. It could be made up of just 4 different digits, but that's nonsense, because in column 1 there are 6 different digits in cages. So we are using at least 6 digits in our cages. Maybe the way to do this is by knowing, which I don't know, what the sum of all the squares from 1 to 9 is, and then subtracting up to 3 numbers that add up to 9. Yeah, I'm going to try this actually. This is the sort of algebra approach to this puzzle, and it might not be the simplest way. There might be Sudoku you could do to get through it, but I'm interested in this now. So those are the squares of the numbers from 1 to 9, and they add up to 100, 149, 230, 255. Wow, this is big. 271, 280, 285 is the total of all of those. Now the numbers that don't go in the squares then have squares that sum to somewhere between, they are numbers. Let me just put these little numbers in as they are numbers that add up to exactly 15, because 45 minus the 30 is 15. So up to 3 digits add up to 15 and aren't going in the cages, and the sum of their squares is somewhere between 103 and 117. Now that could just mean it's 8 and 7 that don't go in, because they add up to 15. Is there a triple combination though? Okay, I'm sorry, the maths approach has let me down a bit. I don't think that's the way to get into this. I'm not going to try anymore. I'm going to think about this 15 cage instead. Say this is 9 and 6. Now we've already worked out that you can't have, yeah, hang on. Say this is 9 and 6. What digits are going in this 21 cage? That's got 3 digits in that are each at least 4. Right. What's more, this has got 2 high digits in from 987. And this has got 2 high digits in. Now they might be the same 2 high digits, but if they're not, we're putting in 3 high digits. Now, if this was 9-6 and you tried to put 9-6 in this cage, it won't work, because the 3rd digit you'd need in this 21 cage is another 6. That's not allowed. So, if this was 9-6 and you wanted to avoid having 8, 7 and 6 in this cage, because you mustn't have 9, 8, 7 and 6 in the cages, it adds up to too much, doesn't it? I just want to check that, sorry. 81, 64, 49, 36 is 181, yeah, 230. We're only aiming for a maximum of 182. Wow, that's actually, let's just have a look at those numbers again. Because I think we must have 3 high digits in between these cages. If that's 9-6, this could be 984 or 975. It can't be 876 or all 4 big digits would be in. So if that's 96, then this is either 984 or 975. Now we're adding up to at least 181, and that's too much because 182 is our maximum and we've got at least 3 digits still to add. So we can't have 689 as a trio in cages. Could this be 975? And then we're using those ones. 81, 130, 166. We've got a maximum of 16 more to add. And the digits we've used so far would be 9, 7 and 6, which add up to 22. The other digits would add up to 8. They could be 431, adding another 26 to our total of 166. And that's too high. That takes us up to 192, but our maximum cage total is 182. So what I'm now going to say is that there is no way to do this with this being a 9-6 cage, because this would have to have, it can't be 876 or all of those get involved, and that's way too much. It would have to be either 984, which is too much just considering those, or 975, which is too much. Yeah, you'd even have to have the 5 in a cage then. You'd have 25. And that's way too much. So this is not a 9-6 cage. There we go. That's the conclusion. This is an 8-7 cage. Now, the whole point of having 8 and 7 involved is that we can now avoid having 9 involved. I don't think we can have 9, 8 and 7 involved. It was too much. We worked that out. So this now avoids having a 9 in, and this is 8, 7, 6. And now we have 8, 7, 6 involved, and our totals are up to 149. And we've got to have at least 3 more digits, adding up to 9, with a square, with squares that sum up to no more than 33. It's quite complicated, isn't it? Oh, but like, let's carry on. Here's Sudoku. This is a 9 because it's a high digit that's not 6, 7 or 8. I'm not going to carry on with the colouring. I think it's more important to do some work with these digits. So 6, 7 and 8 are in my set of digits, and then at least 3 others. In fact, it can only be 3 others. They've got to add up to 9. We need at least 3 others because we need 6 different digits in cages from column 1. They've got to add up to 9, and you can't use 4 different digits because they would add up to at least 10. So we've either got 8, 7, 6, 5, 3, 1 as a set, or 8, 7, 6, 4, 3, 2. I should do the maths on this. I'm going to have to try it. So this is either 64, 49, 36, and then 25, 9, 1, or 64, 49, 36, 16. I didn't expect this much maths from this puzzle. 16, 9, 4. Now, 149, 150, 175, 184. That is too much. That version does not work. Let's hope this is within bounds, otherwise I've definitely done something wrong. 149, 159, 165, 174, 178. That needs this cage to be 10 more than the minimum 3. This adds up to 13. Now we know that, and we know the population of digits in the cages, which is this one here, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. Those are the digits that go in the cages. So this group of digits are from 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. I think that work was worth doing. I know we're 13 minutes in. We haven't really done anything in the puzzle. But that has got to help. And these add up to 23. Now that set of digits adds up to 30. It's 3 lots of 10. So we have to take a pair that adds up to 7 out, and that has to be the 3, 4 pair to make this cage work. And let's remember, that's using one of the 2s in these cages. Anyway, we've got 8, 7, 6, 2 there. So this pair is a 3, 4 pair. They add up to 7. These add up to 15. They're an 8, 7 pair. Remember this population that we're allowed to put in the cages. 8, 7, 6, 4, 3, 2. That's all we're allowed. So here, we can't put 7 or 8 in those. We must have an 8 or a 7 in this cage. Otherwise it couldn't add up to more than 15 or something. So that's 8 or 7. Then these add up to 9 or 10 without using 8 or 7. So they're either 6, 4 or 6, 3. And they use a 6. And these don't use a 6, and this is a 6. There's another digit for the puzzle. This is a 13 sum with the low digit on this side that can't be 5, so that's 4 or 6. Oh, and it can't be 4. Actually, the only way to make up 13 with our population of digits is 7, 6. So we know which way that goes, like that. And, oh, the whisper, how about that? Not that helpful. This is 1, 8 or 9 based on this digit. The 10 cage, we have 3 different ways of making up 10. What about this thing? This digit, this one can't be 7, 8 or 6. Its maximum is 4. Well, that's got to be what it is. That's 4, leaving the other digits to be their maximum 8 and 7 to make up 19. So there's no 4 in those cells. Therefore, they add up to 9. That's an 8 to make the 17. Oops, 8 to make the 17 total. That's 7, that's 8. This is not 8. This is not an 8-2 cage. It's either 7-3 in that order or 6-4 in any order. And that doesn't quite resolve this line. That's weird. That 8 is looking across here though. I don't have any aide-memoire digits anymore. Now that can't be a 7, that's not a 3. So now this is a 4-6 cage. This digit is 1 or 9 based on the whisper. And now we've got a 1-9 pair in the row. And a 3-4-6 triple. This is a strange row, row 2. This one is low and it's not a 3. So it's 1 or 2. It can't be a 4 because it's touching an 8. Ah, this is an odd puzzle. Right, now, this 18 cage, well, let's remember we're trying to put 8 8s in the cages. It's not that difficult, weirdly, at the moment. Or is it? These two cages, there are 10 cages and those two don't have an 8 in. So all the others do have an 8 in. So that one has an 8 in. That's a sort of X-wing on 8s, so that can't be an 8. This one, we know that has an 8 in. This one we now know has an 8 in. Now what about 7s? That doesn't have a 7 in. And that doesn't have a 7 in. That's annoying. One of these does have a 7 in and the other doesn't on the count. Okay, let's count 6s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, one of these has a 6 in and the other one doesn't. 5s are not in the cages. Oh, what can this be? This is either 8, 6, 4 or 8, 7, 3. Now we've had 1 3 there and 1 3 there, so we do still have a 3 to put in. We've had a 4 there, a 4 here and a 4 here, so we still have 1 4 and we've had 1 2. That's really annoying. So these cages contain 1 each of 7 6 4 3 2 and 2 8s. That's the 7 digits. Right, this one is either 8 7 3 or 8 6 4. So the other 2 is in this cage. This is 8 2. And then either 4 6 in this cage and 7 3 in that one, or the other way round. I'm going to have to do Sudoku. Well, I mean, it's not a crime. It's not something I'm afraid of. That can't be 6 or 7. That can't be 6. Let's do a bit of basics. Well, we've got 1 5 9 to place in the first column, and the middle one can't be a 9 based on Sudoku. Oh, these wolves. These are crazed wolves that don't appear in any cages, so they're from 1 5 9. So now I've got a 1 5 pair in the row. Is that good? That makes this 2 3 or 4. Doesn't do much else. Okay, what about this whisper? Right, it obviously alternates between high and low digits. If the middle one is high, it can't be 7 or 8, so it has to be 9. 6, well, it's ruled out by a 6 there. If, on the other hand, there are 2 high digits at the end, they are 9 and 6. So 9 is in use somewhere on this line. And it's not, therefore, in this cell, and we can place 9 in column 1. The low digits, if 9's in the middle, these could be anything from 1, 2, 3. If 9 and 6 are on the edge, the low digit is a 1, sitting right here. I don't know. Should I know how that works? I don't. Okay, I still need to do Sudoku. 9, 3, 4, 7, 8. Right, the 6, there's a 6 X-wing there, so that's a 6. These are from 1, 2, 5. this cage now doesn't contain a 6 because I've got a 6 there and a 6 in that box. So the 6 is in one of these two cells specifically, in fact, there, because every one of the digits that can go in the cages has to go in these cages, including an 8 twice. So this is now an 864 cage, and we can fill in the other digits based on, again, on this 4-6 pair. And this, that's the wrong way round, sorry. This cage is now 2378. And I'm pretty sure that if you do a summing of how many digits appear in how many cages, we'll have got it right. So 2 2s in those cages. 3s, 1 there, 1 there, 1 there. 3 3s. 4 4s, yes. No 5s. 1, 2, I'm counting 6s. 3, 4, 5, 6 6s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 7s. That one can't be a 7, by the way. And 8 8s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 1 in each of these cages. So the 8 that doesn't get in a cage is in one of these two cells. And the 7, there is a 7 in one of those two. Oh well, anyway, we've got the count of the cages right, which frankly I'm happy with. Those are from 2 3 4. Now we've got this 2 3 7 8 cage. Three, 4, 6 triple. One of those is a 6, and one of them is low. I don't know what to do with that. That's really strange. 7 8 7 8 6 6 8 6 4. Got that 1 5 pair. This must be easier than I'm finding it. Sorry, at this point. I mean, I'm quite pleased with how we've gone about the puzzle because it feels like a successful way, but I would like to carry on solving it. Not unreasonable as I hope. 3 6 7 8 4. 2 3 7 5 to go in here. I don't know, I'm not seeing the obvious way to carry on. One of these is an 8 by Sudoku. Six could be there. Okay, what about this green line? Maybe I'm missing a trick there. Yes, it now can't have 6 on one end. So it only has one high digit, and that's a 9 in the middle. Excellent. So these others are low from 1, 2, and 3. That 9, what's that doing for me? El Zippo. The 6 in row 9 is now here. That fixes the 6 in this left-hand 23 cage as there. These are from 2, 7, and 8. One of these is an 8, and therefore neither of these is an 8, and the 8 in the right-hand cage is here at the top. So I'm left with an X-wing on 8. Oh, and that seems to be a 2, 3 pair. So that's a 7. This isn't, and the 7 in this cage is at the top here. And now I've got a 2, 8 pair in the box, and that's a 3, and that's a 2, and that looks back at the 2, 8 pair. Lovely. This is now a 1 by Sudoku in the box. That's a 5. This is now a 3, and we've finished the bottom row. Suddenly, it kind of feels like it's coming together. 4, 9 pair there. Looking at this wolf, this crazed wolf is a 1 or a 5, and that's a pair. That's not 4. This is from 2 or 9, it looks like. In fact, where does 9 go in this column? It's got to be there. And we can rule out 3 and 1, and that's a 2, 5 pair. This is a 4, that's a 1. That sorts out a wolf. Both of the wolves are 5s. In the puzzle, that's not 4. This is part of a 2, 3 pair with that. Oh, this is excellent. What a cleverly resolved puzzle. I mean, it's really, really smart stuff. 6 in box 8 is there, then 4 in box 8 is in one of those two, and that sorts out the 9-4 pair. Finished a whole box. 2, 9, 3, 7, 6. That's a wolf of some sort, 1 or 5. Maybe they're not wolves if they're not actually marked as grey. That's become a 1 by Sudoku. Does that not do anything else? That's a naked 3, so I can finish off the column, 5 and 4. That 5 sees this cell. That's a 1 now. This is a 3-9 pair. I know the order thanks to the 3-6 up at the top of the grid, and that's filling in a lot of digits. I still haven't done the top green line, which I thought was going to be easy. That's a 2. We've got 4 and 9. That's going to sort out the green line because I get to put in 6 there. 4, 9, 1, 6. That's now a 3. This total's correct for its cage. 5, 3, 7 here. We get a 3 and a 5, 7 pair. That's a 1. That's an 8. We've got 4 and 5 to place. That sorts out 7 and 5. This 3, 2 pair's been done. 2 rows to go. 1, 5, 3, 7, 9. 9, 7, 3. And a 1 and a 2. And there we go. The crazed wolves have been tracked down to their lairs. We've got the puzzle correct. We love it. And that is very clever, Green Checker 34. Very interesting puzzle. Really very surprising amount of maths to have to do at the beginning, unless you did it another way. And do let me know, because there may be other ways to approach this. I would presume at some point you have to come up with the 30 total. Maybe you could just do it by actually literally counting 8s and 7s and stumbling into this cage. But I'd be very interested to hear what your experience was, especially if it was different from mine. Thank you, as always, for your comments. Thank you for watching the channel. It's an absolute pleasure to be with you. Hope to see you again soon, and bye for now.